On today's show,
we discuss Curry's three-point barrage, a heated triple-double race, and the latest Suns-Raptors trade rumors.
in the up-down report, was Dirk ever dominant? And is Lil Beard a good Trey Kirby nickname?
And hold on to your popcorn, we've got a brand new edition of the Meme Team.
It's Thursday, February 4th. The starter starts now.
Good evening, sweet world, and welcome to the starters. Whether you're listening to the podcast or hopefully tonight watching on NBA TV and or YouTube, thanks for joining us. I'm J.D. Skeets, and alongside me, as always, that's Tass Mellis.
Need a spot?
To his right, the international man of mystery, taking it to the max, Lee Ellis.
Friend.
Lily, and last, certainly not least, it's starters blog editor, Trey Kirby.
Hey-yo!
Yes, there is TK hitting the elliptical tonight because he lost the month of January in the Pick'em contest. This is the Pick'em payoff.
Yeah!
Look at these camera shots. So Trey, throughout the entire show tonight, we know you've been trying to lose weight. Trying to lose weight.
I've been doing it.
So we wanted to help you out. You got to be on the elliptical all show long, and we're hoping for, if we get another shot maybe of the monitor there, we're hoping for around 400 calories.
Already at 9.
Okay.
Great start.
Wow, you
10.
you better get going, man. 400 calories by
boy.
the end of the show. Oh, this is going to be a blast. All right, we got I know you don't have your computer in front of you, but do you have anything to show us at least?
Well, yeah, I'm here at the elliptical trying not to die, but we had a pretty funny play happen in the NBA last night. Got us a lot of tweets, actually. You'll see here, Marcin Gortat off a save from Andrew Bogut. Bad shot, strangely, from the Warriors. Marcin Gortat catches it with his legs. People tweeted in saying, is this a wedgie? Does this count as a wedgie? The answer is no, it doesn't, but we do need a name for this because this is a pretty rare play. This is maybe another kind of snowflake, so if you guys got an idea for a name, let's hear it.
I got one. The Polish Jammer.
Oh, not bad. I was thinking a leggy maybe. Whatever it is, tweet us your answers at #thestarters and we'll check them sometime.
Yeah, if we don't check them today, we'll maybe get them in
Yeah.
tomorrow's
That means
show.
Trey's dead.
Yeah, Trey's already tired. Okay, look, we got the up-down report. Trey will be on the elliptical for that, so I can't wait for that. And we got the meme team. But first, because we didn't want to make it easy on Trey, we're playing What You Got.
Great.
Trey presents us with two related topics. We here have to determine the better choice. The catch, of course, is there's only one right answer, and Mr. Universe over there knows it. So TK, your first one.
Yes, our first topic, Stephen Curry went for 11 three-pointers last night, tying his career best and falling just one short of the all-time record held by NBA legends Donyell Marshall and Kobe Bryant. My question to you guys is, who will break the all-time record for threes in a single game? Stephen Curry or any other player that's in the NBA right now? What you got?
So you're saying Steph Curry versus the field.
Or the field.
That's
Which
precisely
one?
what I'm saying.
Okay.
I think the better question is, when does Steph want to do it? It's up to him.
Bingo.
Just like President Obama said today with the Warriors at the White House, Steph Curry was clowning yesterday.
Yeah.
He was 7 of 8 in the first quarter. He
Yeah.
had 7. He was more than halfway there. He could have gone for it. He chose not to. So that is the question. When will he go for it? Because last night he didn't.
No.
So you obviously have to take Steph over the field.
It has to be Steph. I don't see how you can't pick him. He's the only guy in NBA history to have multiple games of 11 three-pointers made. So that's one thing. He's got 33 career games of 7 three-pointers made or more. That's another thing. And here's the most interesting part, and this sort of goes into what you guys are saying to me. Only 5 guys in NBA history have ever attempted 20 three-pointers in one game. Steph's not even one of them.
Yeah.
Steph has never attempted 19 three-pointers in a game. He's never attempted 18 three-pointers in a game. He's never attempted 17. 16 is the most he's ever shot. So who's to say whether or not even a game goes to overtime or something, at one point he's going to get up 20, 21, 22 threes, and he's easily going to hit 12, 13, 14, whatever you want to do.
He's also the point guard, so the ball is in his hands. A lot of other guys
Good point.
are shooters who need the ball given to them. So Steph's got 2 ways of scoring. He can come down and do it himself, or he can run off a screen and get that shot up. So I really don't think anyone else right now could do that before he could do it.
Yeah,
No, we just need a pool, basically. We need a date. What day is he going to do it on? Because he's going to
Yeah.
do it. It's
Will
a
he do it
before-
this year then?
It's a before or after. Great question,
Yeah.
Lee. No.
I say yes, he'll do it
Wow.
this year.
Why?
He's
just
so hot.
because he is
Everything's
hot?
going so well for him right now. And like I say, If he has another game where he has 8 in the first half and decides to be selfish in the second half and just go for it, he could do it easily.
Look, there are other guys that are going to make a play at this.
Yeah.
The other Splash brother, Klay
Klay, yeah,
Thompson, I
sure.
think, of course, has a real good chance at this. I mean, he's gotten close before.
Yeah.
I mean, we saw the 37-point quarter for crying out loud last year. I mean, he could do it again. Other guys like Lillard and stuff like that. I think what they have going, the field has going for them, is the idea that 10 guys in history have made 10 or three-pointers in a game before. And it's weird guys sometimes.
Yeah.
Terrence Ross comes to mind. I mean, he did it. Guys can catch fire. Daniel Marshall having the record with Kobe is sort of strange.
That is
Kobe
crazy,
even
yeah.
having the record is sort of
Yeah,
odd.
yeah,
So
that's a good point.
I think that's the only thing going for the field that,
Yeah.
one weird fluke night, someone just catches fire. But
Yeah.
we all go Steph. I think most people watching at home do as well. What's the answer?
Oh, it's definitely Steph Curry. The
Okay.
guy should have had it last night. He's going to have every three-point record by the time he retires. Anyways, our next topic.
Keep going.
Last night, Russell Westbrook notched his 3rd straight triple-double, giving him 8 for the season. Not to be outdone, Draymond Green went back-to-back on his triple-doubles,
You're all right.
bumping up the league-leading tally to 10. What I want to know from you guys is who's going to finish the season with more triple-doubles, Westbrook or Green? What you got?
I will take Westbrook in this, even though Green has more,
Yeah.
because another reason, I think he's the point guard, so he does have the ball in his hands, and sometimes Draymond struggles just to get those 10 points. Whereas he can get those other categories, he can definitely get the rebounds and the
Yeah.
assists, but he's not that selfish that he's always out there scoring. I'm not saying Russell is, but I think Russell has the ball in his hands so often. He's so aggressive going for those rebounds. He's got so many other guys he can feed as well when he's in transition in that fast break. And I think as well, Westbrook is out there to try to prove a little something because a lot of people are sort of overlooking the performance he's had this season. So
Okay.
I think it's going to be Westbrook.
I go with Westbrook too, even though he's played 2 more games than Draymond Green, so he's a little bit closer to that 82 mark. Green is more likely to sit fourth quarters and potentially games. Westbrook, is never going to sit. He will never let anyone tell him to sit. And Green's already said he was hunting down that triple-double against the Sixers.
Yeah.
So he's already conscious of the fact
Yeah.
that he's not stat padding. He verbally said that, which was pretty amazing that he came out and said that.
Yeah.
And as you sort of said, Lee, I think Russell Westbrook is just a tad bit crazier than Draymond Green.
There's a lot of crazy right there.
Yeah, that's a lot of crazy. To say he's crazier is something.
I agree with you guys. I sat in the hot seat in our season preview shows. One of the questions I got, who will lead the league in triple doubles? I went with Westbrook. I'm going to stick with it, even though he is trailing Green, like you guys said. He is on fire right now, and his season averages are 24, 10, and 7.6.
Yeah.
The only other player to ever put up those type of numbers across a season in history
Oscar?
is Oscar Robertson, who did it 4 times back in the 60s.
Yeah.
That's how good Russ has been. And you're right, he's almost been overlooked, and the Thunder have because of what the Spurs are doing and Curry, and
Yep.
what the Spurs are doing with their team and what the Warriors are doing with Curry. So I go Russ in the end too, and I like that you brought up Green addressing the stat padding, and he apologized for it.
Yeah.
He said it almost cost us the game against the Sixers. Barnes hits the corner 3, they end up winning. But you're right, he might dial it back a little
Just
bit.
a little,
Chasing
just a
some of
little.
those numbers. Russ ain't dialing anything back. We all go Westbrook. What's the answer?
We're all in concurrence because it's
Okay.
got to be Westbrook. He's the main guy with the ball. A little easier for him. Anyways, our final topic involves y'all's favorite team, the Toronto Raptors, who are rumored to be interested in 2 Phoenix Suns, Markieff Morris and PJ Tucker. As Raptors fans and an Australian, you're the Raptors. Would you rather have Markieff or PJ? What you got?
I think this is a no-brainer. It's Markieff Morris.
Oh, I disagree.
The power forward spot is a far greater weakness for the Raptors. They already have DeMarre Carroll. They have a better version of PJ Tucker with DeMarre Carroll. Markieff Morris is such a rarity. He's got a beautiful contract, 3 more years at $8 million per year. That's nothing. That's less than what Terrence Ross is making. This is a great buy low opportunity. PJ Tucker is 31 years old. He's seen his best days. I don't really get the logic. You put PJ Tucker at the 3 spot and DeMarre at the 4 spot. The 4 spot is such a weakness. DeMarre can't play the 4 all the time. And you can already do that with Corey Joseph, Kyle Lowry, and DeMarre. They've shown that they can play the 1, 2, 3, and DeMarre can play the 4 for stretches. I think this is a no-brainer. Even though Markieff isn't working out well, the talent
I was going to
is
say,
there.
you're not worried about
Yeah.
Markieff Morris coming in and disrupting a
It's a
locker room?
buy low opportunity,
Well,
though.
there-
There's
yeah.
just so much talent. PJ Tucker is just on the wrong side of 30. I mean, this isn't a great time to get a PJ Tucker when you've got a better DeMarre Carroll.
My only concern with Markieff is, can you trust him right now? Because the situation in Phoenix over the last 6 months to 8 months hasn't been good. He hasn't reacted well. He's feuded with his coach. He's thrown a towel at his coach to get a 2-game
Yeah,
suspension.
you're not getting his twin brother Marcus coming in this deal
so
as well with him. So which,
I just wonder if Markieff isn't happy going to Toronto, how well will he handle it? I think there's no doubt, talent-wise, Markieff is the better player. But maybe PJ will fill a role that they need right now for this season better than maybe Markieff will.
Yeah, especially, I go PJ Tucker as well, just because DeMarre Carroll is injured, and he is going to be out since March, and it's a bad injury at that, so why not get some reassurance, what's the word I'm trying to say? Reassurance in PJ Tucker, who is a perfect Casey type of guy, who has in the past been able to hit the three, which the Raptors could always use. He obviously can play defense.
Yeah.
And what's killed the Raptors in the last 2 playoff rounds? Guys like Joe Johnson and Paul Pierce.
So you're saying DeMarre's not going to be healthy?
I'm saying if DeMarre isn't healthy, then having PJ Tucker as your backup plan isn't a bad idea for the cheap. So anyway, what's the correct answer to this one?
It's PJ Tucker. Raptors got great chemistry. I'm not messing with that.
Okay, there you go. Let's hear from you guys. Agree or disagree with Trey's answer? Let us know.
Yeah!
Kirby, come on, baby.
We're coming for you.
20 minutes to go.
y'all.
20 minutes to go. All right, we got to take a break. When we come back, Trey Kirby will be going throughout the commercial break. We'll make sure about that. But when we come back, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar says Dirk Nowitzki was never dominant. Is he right? That and more in the Up-Down Report. Welcome back to the Starters. It's Pick'em Payoff Day. Hey, you're supposed to be hating this, not loving it.
I'm hating it. Don't worry.
Okay, Trey Kirby hitting the elliptical for the entire show.
Getting the sweat up there.
Trying to burn about 400 calories.
Rocking a 145.
Oh,
That's
you're
fine.
doing
That's
great.
not bad. Yeah,
wow,
you're
you
doing
took
pace.
down about 35 calories there during the commercial break. So
Thanks.
I
keep
feel
it
like
up.
we're in an awesome exercise class.
Yeah.
Where we're all pumping.
Run, push it. Yeah, knees. I don't know. I've never
You'd be a
taken an
great
exercise
instructor.
class.
Oh, you're a natural.
You got a great sweat going. All right, so let's try and play the Up-Down Report with Trey Kirby involved, of course. We figure out where the 4 of us stand, or oddly run in place, on some hot-button NBA topics. Guys, first one here. During an appearance at George Mason this week, NBA legend Kareem Abdul-Jabbar said that Dirk Nowitzki would have gotten more credit for his career if he wasn't a one-trick pony. Quote Kareem, "I don't think that Dirk was able to have a dominant career because he couldn't do other things." Keyword there, dominant. A lot of people jumping on this. Guys, up or down on Kareem Abdul-Jabbar saying Dirk was never dominant. I got an
Down.
idea where everyone's going with this.
Yeah, we're all going down.
Trey Kirby?
Trey?
Down as well.
Down.
Yeah, use that.
Down.
Don't get too much sweat on that.
I'm down. I mean, Dirk averaged 20 a game for 12 straight seasons. Pretty unprecedented. Went to the playoffs 10 straight seasons, 50-plus wins.
Yeah.
That's dominant.
Yeah.
He's an MVP.
Yeah.
He's been hovering around that MVP conversation in other years. And how you define dominant as well
Yeah,
is
it's
important.
Very
here.
subjective.
He's not as dominant as Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Is that fair to
he's
say?
not. He didn't have the same
Okay.
supporting cast as Kareem Abdul-Jabbar
Yeah, good
either,
point,
which
good
allowed
point.
him to flourish. And defensively, we know Dirk obviously wasn't as dominant there. But what he did for those Mavericks teams, having them always in the conversation as a contender for a number of years, to me, makes him a dominant player.
Yeah, he's dominant offensively. You can't take that away from him. I think Kareem is comparing Dirk to himself, like a lot of athletes do.
Yeah.
So he looks and he says, well, he can't rebound, he can't play D like I did. He's 6th all-time in scoring, so he has to be dominant in some way.
Yeah.
And to say he's a one-trick pony, during those years, he wasn't just a jump shooter because people took that away from him, and he was able to drive and go by them. I mean, one of the most famous shots was him getting fouled by Manu Ginobili in that 2006 conference final against the Spurs because he drove by. He was multi-dimensional offensively. He wasn't the best defender, but he worked his butt off as hard as he could. It's such a subjective term, and Kareem just thinks, well, he's not as good as me, and I think that's where it comes from.
Kareem has done this before, by the way, in case you're. I remember comments about Duncan and Pippen he's made, but whatever. Dirk is dominant.
opinionated man.
He won MVP, and he also took a team to the finals on his back and did win it. So that's dominant. Here's what Dirk said about Abdul-Jabbar's comments. It's actually not the first time he said some stuff. Wow, about Dirk. I'm not sure why. I guess he's not a big fan of my game, which is okay. But I like to think I was dominant at some point, like you said, Tass, especially on the offensive end of my career in my prime. So there you go.
Was Karl Malone dominant? You know, it's just it's such a word you just throw out there. He can score with the best of them.
All right, next one here, guys. Let's keep it moving. All right, Pistons president and coach Stan Van Gundy, not a fan of replays. In fact, before Monday's game, the notorious SVG said he would completely eliminate instant replay across all sports. Quote, "It's infuriating watching the game and watching the last 2 minutes take 20 minutes and stuff." I gotta know, everyone watching along at home, on Twitter, let us know, are you up or down on Stan Van Gundy's anti-replay stance?
Wow.
Lee, you're up.
I am actually up because he has a point.
He
What
does.
he's saying is, why do we change the rules for 2 minutes of the game and make things different than the other 46 minutes?
He also said get rid of replays in all
across-
sports.
yeah, okay,
You're
okay.
picking your spots here. I know.
Even the World Cup?
Yeah.
More like rant Van Gundy. But
Yeah, sure.
I could certainly understand as a coach why this frustrates him, because we've got the hacker rules, because there's other rules that happen in that last 2 minutes that only apply for that section. I think what he's saying is, if we're going to have replay, let's allow replay for foul calls and non-foul calls throughout the game.
Replay everything.
Yeah,
Then we're watching
that's
a
what he's
5-hour
saying. And I
game.
just think he has a point in what he's saying there. So
Yeah,
I think-
he would change his tune if a wrong call screwed
When-
his team out of a playoff spot, a playoff series win. I
I'd
mean, it's
say-
easy to just say that right
Yeah.
now.
The refreshing
They're trying
part
to
is,
get it
though,
right.
the refreshing part is he is referring to the 2 years where he was off, and he said, as a fan, I was watching this game, and it took a little bit too long. But
Yeah.
the NBA officials and George Borja are working on this, and
Yeah.
it has gotten faster
Yeah.
since last year. It is getting faster. We're working on it, Stan. We're working on
All
it.
right, Trey, I know your thumbs down on that one. All right,
Yeah,
next
big
one
time.
here. Final one here. This one has to do with Trey, actually. Finally, earlier this week, James Harden gave Trey Kirby a new nickname. Little Beard happened while Harden, after the win against the Heat, was leaving the court. Thanks, Little Beard. Gives him a little tap. Trey was happy about it. Are you guys thumbs up or thumbs down on Taco Trey Kirby being called Little Beard?
Oh, I'm
could
way
you be
up on
down
this.
on that?
Honestly, I haven't had a lot of nicknames in my life because I was kind of born with a nickname, so I'm liking having one.
I was originally down.
Yeah, me
because Taco
too.
Trey Kirby is a great nickname, but Little Beard, it's sort of like when people call, like, first off, what's little about your beard? Nothing. It's huge.
Bigger.
Thanks,
but
man.
that's like calling a big fat guy tiny. And I always love that. Right?
If you guys want to call me tiny, that's a thumbs down.
I'm not
I
calling you
just think-
tiny. I
hey,
said you
okay.
got a huge beard.
Okay,
but I'm
okay,
not
okay,
calling you a
okay.
little
the
beard.
best nicknames are those that are earned. And
That's
James
right.
Harden just gave that to you. I think that's fantastic.
All right, I'm up on
All
it.
right, we've talked Tass into it. Thumbs up across the board. Little Beard, keep it going, man. That beard's glistening.
Oh, sweat all over that
Wow,
camera.
200 calories.
This is literally the farthest I've ever run.
Okay, keep it going. When we return, a presidential edition of the Meme Team. You're watching the starters.
We happy? Lee. We happy?
Oh yeah, we're happy, Bones.
Back on the starters, every Thursday we scour the internet to bring you the Meme Team, our favorite weird and wacky moments from the past 7 days.
At number 5, Ricky Rubio, Wednesday night, trying to grab a ball, going into the crowd.
Oh,
Takes a little tumble, and Popcorn takes a little tumble all over Ricky.
what a popcorn head.
It's in his hair.
This is one time sleeve jerseys came in handy, so it didn't fall in. You know, that would be pretty gross.
Ever wondered what's going on in James Harden's head? Well, apparently it's lasers, sweet guitar licks, and candy.
Maybe you think you could get in for some trolling. No way. I'm having a one-on-one sour break game. With me. You can't stop thinking sour, can you? That's called being in your head.
That was not an Old Spice commercial?
At number 3, huge news. Kevin Love was included in a LeBron Instagram photo.
Well done,
You gotta
well
think
done.
Love was happy because 3 weeks ago, when he wasn't included in a LeBron Instagram photo, he photoshopped himself into a LeBron
Wow,
photo.
that David Blatt change really changed everything.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Number 2, Wednesday night, Mavericks guard JJ Barea looking like the late great Jerry Tarkanian here, chomping away on his towel, and he is zoned out.
You like a guy eating the towel skeets?
Yeah, no, I hate the idea of someone even chewing on his fabric.
yeah.
But watch
about your
Chandler
teeth?
Parsons help him out
yeah.
here.
That's a good friend.
And then
What a
watch
bomb
JJ
move.
Barea come back to life. Yeah, I'm back.
At number 1, for the final time today, President Obama welcomed the NBA champions to the White House, and as usual, Obama was
It
entertaining.
is rare to be in the presence of guys from the greatest team in NBA history. So we're pretty lucky today because we've got one of those players in the house, Steve Kerr from the 1995-96 Chicago Bulls. Unfortunately, the NBA won't let Luke count those wins as his own, which, man, that doesn't seem fair. You defied the cynics, you accomplished big things, you racked up a great record, and you don't get enough credit. I can't imagine how that feels. But let's face it, beautiful was not how folks described the Warriors for many years. One college player forgot that there was even a team in Oakland. That was Klay Thompson, by the way. Good luck for the rest of this season. Maybe you'll break that Bulls record. But as Coach Kerr pointed out, he wins either way. Either way, he's got the record.
None of those laughs were fake. You think you'd go to the White House, the president speaking? No, those were all real.
That was the mean team, and that's a guy on an elliptical.
Killing it.
Only on the starters.
Killing it.
Only on the starters. All right, we got to take a break. When we come back,
270.
130.
I mean,
yeah.
come on, 270. 270, come on, guys.
the machine might be broken. You're going too fast.
I need new legs.
All right, when we come back, Lili's very solid play and Trey's race for 400 calories. Back to the starters, Lee, the only one right with the Bulls pick last night. Tonight, we're picking between the Raptors and the Blazers. I'm actually shocked all of us are taking the Raptors on the road. The Blazers on fire at home, but
Absolutely.
we all say
Weak
Toronto.
sked, though. Weak sked.
In the end, Lili, where are we going for your very solid play?
Going to Charlotte for a beautifully executed triple bounce pass play from the Cavs. Finishes with a Tristan Thompson lay in there. Watch it again here. There's one. There's two. That's a bounce, but not a bounce pass. And that's three. That's what I call a very solid play.
Good stuff, Lee. Way to keep an eye on it.
Nice dinker from Thompson there.
Yeah, that's a real dink.
We gotta check in with our man TK over here, doing his pick and payoff on the elliptical
my best,
all
guys.
show long. We wanted you to get to 400 calories.
Oh,
Level up! Wow, that was a bad idea.
Oh my God. Trey,
get there.
unbelievable job, man. How you feeling?
Pretty bad.
Yeah?
I'm getting carried home by our producer, Matt, tonight.
Carlos, we need the garbage can again. I hope you cleared the eggnog
5
from it.
miles?
All right, TK,
yeah.
let's give it up for TK.
Good effort.
Good job.
Why
Good
do you
effort.
do this on purpose, Steve?
Good effort, good effort. I don't do the elliptical, man. Jeez, I hate the elliptical. Just a reminder, guys, next week we're headed to Toronto for All-Star Week. Live shows at Real Sports. If you're in the area, join us 7 p.m. on Monday. But we'll have a show tomorrow and the drop. That's
Bring
it
a
for us
fan
tonight.
sign if you're there.
Thank you so much for joining us. And remember, sweat dripping all over that camera. Sweat dripping all over that camera.